Hi there, y'all. Disney D Prince here again today. So, today I am making a video that is basically an answer to a question that I had when I started looking at Ken dolls. And that question is, why did Mattel just recently start making Ken doll heads like this that have a molded jawline and it does a more accurate job of connecting to the neck, or at least a more realistic job. Now, this is the 2016 sculpt, which is just basically a recolor of the current classic Ken doll. And but this is the kind of head that comes on the new Made to Move wheelchair Ken, except he's blonde. But I hate that head, so I'm using this one instead. Show a little contrast. And for a few years, when Mattel was making the articulated fashionistas, aka these bodies that had the movable arms and legs and then just the movable knees, or sometimes no movable knees, no articulation in the knees, they did these heads with no molded jawline and these really deep neck holes. And so it comes down to about there on the doll, really. Which is fine, but if you're like me and you don't like extra seams that are super visible, then, you want to make a little modification to them. Now, here is one that I did earlier today. Now, his hair is a little messed up because he actually had the one of the crowns that was attached by the little plastic pieces directly into his head. So he actually looks a little funkier, but he's got pretty good head mold. I mean, it's the basic Ken doll. But he has the rooted hair, which I like. I like rooted Ken dolls, which you don't get very often outside of the signature dolls anymore, except for the long hair Ken that we have right now, the long hair fashionista Ken. But notice how I brought his jawline up and made his neck smaller, and we still have a fair amount of movability in this little recess before we get to the actual neck peg hole. So it is a lot similar to these. Now you notice it's a little deeper on the jawline over here on the newer one than this one, but I don't want to try to sculpt that out just because I don't want to ruin these heads because they are a little bit harder to find than I would like. And I did kind of go to my local flea market today and pick up as many of these rooted Ken dolls as I could, which wound up being 4, which I was pretty impressed with. So I've already done 2 of them. So this guy also. Again, I might need to clean up his neck a little bit because his cuts, I think this was the first one that I did, so his cuts are a little jagged still, but I may just hit it with with a little bit on the emery board to smooth it out. But I'm going to show you guys how I do it. And it's a pretty simple process. Now, I'm not going to use the Ryan head just yet because I want to make sure that I can do this one off camera to make sure it's actually a really smooth one because I only have one of the dark hair of the Ryan because he's a little more rare. So I'm going to show you guys using my last Ken doll. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, I like to start right under the jawline and just go right along that jawline until you get to about right there, which is right at almost the start of where that jaw starts to curve up. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Again, getting as close as you can to that jawline. Again, just like that. And then just take a little bit of it out like that to give yourself a pretty good idea of where that jawline is. Again, just kind of hit it like that and pull it off. And now we can just clean up this jawline just a little bit. Mainly from the inside. You don't want to try to hit it too much from the outside, just because you want it to retain that sort of smooth look. So again, just kind of get as close as you can to it, and just kind of smooth that out. Now again, I'm going to get a little closer on this part because I didn't like the way that was looking on that side. And again, this is just kind of a work it until you get it to where you like it. And then when you're happy with how your jawline looks, again, it's pretty good. You don't see a lot of extraneous plastic sticking out. A little bit over here, but that's not too bad. And then just sort of go in right there to match up with wherever your cut was and work your way around by feel. It shouldn't be very thick. And just sort of go around like that. And you should connect pretty close to where your jawline wound up. And see, we've got it like that. And I like to just generally hold it up to these guys. And now because this neck hole is a little deeper on the chin side on our new sculpts, that neck can go a little higher in the back. But all in all, you get to about the same space. And then whenever you just put it onto one of the Made to Move bodies, he looks pretty good. He's got more range of motion compared to the normal bodies. To the normal neck, because you cut off that extra skin. And he's got full head rolling, eye rolling ability now, which I think looks pretty good. And notice you don't see that extra seam around the neck, and he looks more like a modern Ken that was rerouted. So if you have some of these older fashionistas and you want to put them on these Made to Move bodies, but you don't want to see that little neck seam which comes down around here, because it pretty much is in line with where the jaw ends, with where the chin is at. This is a good way to do it. Again, I just used my Mr. Hobby nippers, but you can use little sewing scissors, anything sharp and very pointed that you can get. Again, always be careful when you're using sharp scissors and things like that, y'all. But, he works pretty well like that. And you know, that way you have a little more options. There weren't very many of these Kens made, I don't think, but, you know, you can find this guy pretty easily online. But if you look at him, you know, and even if you wanted to disguise that cut on the jawline a little more, you could always just flock some facial hair on him, which I'm going to do a video on that probably in the next week or so on how to flock your Ken dolls, because I am going to take a lot of this side hair off, because this is very 2009 Justin Bieber hair, and I'm probably just going to leave his bangs in the top long and then flock the backs and the sides to give it more of a of an updated look, at least on one of these Kens. Maybe on one of these where the hair is not as well maintained. But yeah, so that's how you take your early 2010s Ken fashionistas and make them a little more 2020. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. This is a question that I had when I was looking at the Ken dolls and I was trying to find all the heads that I could put onto these made-to-move bodies. So these 2006, this is a, let's see if you can get it. Yeah, this is a 2009 Mattel head on this 2020 made-to-move Ken. So, you know, 2009 and forward. I think there was some 2008 also. Let's look at this one. No, this is 2009 also. But, yeah. So these 2009 Ken dolls, the Ken fashionistas that were on these articulated bodies, which, while these bodies are awesome, I prefer the made-to-move just because I like the additional articulation here at the thighs. I like the double-jointed knees. I like the ankle articulation. And I like the articulation here at the biceps. So, and just FYI, these are a pretty good color match. Basic Ken on the new 2020 Ken. So, just a heads up. If you have any other questions, I'm going to keep making videos answering questions that I tried to find videos on and couldn't find them. So, Disney D Prince out.